better technique because 50-50. If 12 rounds, Crawford win, I think.
Anyone that thinks Crawford has a chance is a complete idiot. They have weight classes for a reason.
Too big? Too skilled?
Way too big, way too skilled.
Does he win? Can he beat him? Can he beat Canelo? Is his skill so much that he's able to bridge the weight classes?
He has a legitimate chance. Over 60% for his mind. If you say Bernard, give me a number.
Give me a number.
He has an 85+ chance to.
Experts are weighing in on the upcoming Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford showdown. Israel Madrimov believes that if the fight goes the full 12 rounds, Crawford holds the advantage thanks to his sharp power, high ring IQ, and ability to adapt under pressure. Still, Madrimov admits it's a tough call since Canelo's experience and natural size make the matchup challenging. He calls it a true 50-50 fight.
12 rounds, Crawford win, I think.
Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, what do you think about that fight if they did fight? Looks like it's up for September.
Good fight. You know, if 168 pounds, I think it's Canelo, but it's Canelo better technique because 50-50. If 12 rounds, Crawford win, I think. If knockout, it's Canelo.
What makes Crawford so difficult to fight against?
He has power, smart, in more practical.
He has more experience.
When talk of a Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford clash first surfaced, most observers immediately leaned toward Canelo as the heavy favorite. The reasoning was simple. Canelo was long established in higher weight classes, while Crawford was just moving beyond welterweight. Showbiz the adult captured this early perception, noting how one-sided it looked at first glance. But as training camp footage and images of Crawford began circulating, the narrative shifted. Crawford looked stronger, faster, and surprisingly well-adjusted to his new weight. Rather than appearing undersized, he seemed sharp and fully capable of carrying his skills set up a division. This turnaround shows how quickly boxing opinions change once preparation and form are on display.
Now, the other second point that I think is becoming a fact is this. This fight was initially kind of a one-sided credited fight where if Terence Crawford beats Saul Canelo Alvarez, he's on a Mount Rushmore. If Saul Canelo Alvarez beats Bud Crawford, it's kind of like, of course. But now the Bud Buddies has gone across all of social media and attacked social media so impactfully, like a plague, that now it's starting to give more value if Saul Canelo Alvarez wins. And let me tell you what I mean. You cannot tell everybody they're haters and they're stupid for thinking Canelo wins and say, hey, y'all gonna find out come September 13th how great Bud Crawford is. And you speak Crawford up, you know, you say, yeah, you said the same thing about Spence and Crawford that beat all these. Ah! You just don't know. You know, you have all these all-time great fighters saying that Crawford wins. So come September 14th, if Saul Canelo Alvarez has beaten Crawford or destroyed him, you can't take it back now. You're gonna have to be like, Saul Canelo Alvarez is on Mount Rushmore, right? I mean, you can't go this heavy all over social media and in which social media controls media. So it's everything. You can't flood social media like this and just wave after wave talk about how Bud is going to whoop Canelo and forget boots and all the preparation, all that stuff. And then if Canelo wins, you don't have the same energy.
Rolly Romero represents the skeptics who insist weight cannot be ignored. His blunt take reflects a long-standing truth in boxing. Divisions exist to maintain fairness and protect fighters from overwhelming size gaps. Romero argues that no matter how skilled Crawford is, moving up so drastically is a dangerous gamble. History, he says, shows that fighters who climb too far past their natural weight often pay the price against naturally bigger men. To Romero, Crawford's brilliance at 147 does not guarantee success at 168, especially against Canelo, who has reigned over super middleweight for years.
Hello, we got Terence Crawford. That's going to happen in the fall. It's going to happen here in Sin City, your hometown. How do you feel about that matchup?
Anyone that thinks Crawford has a chance is a complete idiot. They have weight classes for a reason.
Too big? Too skilled?
Way too big, way too skilled. And it's not. This isn't a skill matchup. It has nothing to do with skill.
Bernard Hopkins is more than a respected analyst. He's a legend built on intelligence and longevity. So when he gives Crawford an 85% chance to win, it's staggering. Hopkins points to Crawford's cerebral style, patience, and tactical awareness as tools that could frustrate Canelo. He highlights Crawford's adaptability, his ability to switch stances and adjust mid-fight, as the key to neutralizing Canelo's counters and pressure. Hopkins also knows from experience that physical disadvantages can be overcome with discipline and a strong game plan. By giving Crawford such high odds, Hopkins flips the narrative, framing the fight not as a climb uphill but as a chance to redefine greatness. Meanwhile, David Benavidez, who also competes at super middleweight, sees it differently, siding with Canelo due to the natural size difference.
Can he beat Canelo? Is his skill so much that he's able to bridge the weight classes?
He has a legitimate chance. Over 60% for his mind. If you say, Bernard, give me a number.
Give me a number.
He has an 85+ chance to beat Canelo. Why? He's not going in there to prove something, which will fall into Canelo's hand. He would love for him to prove something. That means you will stay there and try to prove something. But to go in there and to let him know, establish that from the first round, that I belong without showing that I am tough. I earned my position to be here. And I want to show you, even though you're being stubborn, that your time not only have came, but it's gone. He ain't going to surrender and say, I slowed up, so I'm going to act like it. No, he has to be shown. And it has to be early.
Benavidez stresses that Canelo has built his career at higher weights, accustomed to handling strong, natural 168-pounders. Crawford, by comparison, is stepping into uncharted waters. For Benavidez, the gap between a natural super middleweight and a welterweight moving up multiple classes is simply too wide. He doesn't see it as a knock on Crawford's skill, but rather an acknowledgement of how much comfort and experience matter at the elite level. In his eyes, Canelo's years at these weights provide him a safety net Crawford lacks.
Benavidez is choosing Canelo Alvarez to win over Terence Crawford. With that said, David Benavidez has finally given a straight and probably his final prediction for this fight, with him choosing Canelo Alvarez. Now, Benavidez, however, made it perfectly clear that despite him choosing Canelo Alvarez over Terence Crawford, this doesn't necessarily mean that he's actually rooting or backing up Canelo Alvarez. In an interview posted on the Rob's World of Boxing YouTube channel, David Benavidez explained that Terence Crawford, who's pretty much jumping 3 weight divisions in comparison to Canelo, who Benavidez views as a natural super middleweight, will be this fight's biggest deciding factor. Once again, Benavidez clarified that he's not saying that he wants Canelo to win. However, given the circumstances, his prediction is fueled by the weight division argument and not by his emotional or personal views regarding Canelo or Terence Crawford.
Tim Bradley takes the opposite view. He sees Crawford as the superior technician, capable of outthinking and outmaneuvering Canelo. Bradley highlights Crawford's unmatched ability to adjust mid-fight, a trait that has allowed him to dominate across divisions with little trouble. He argues that Canelo's slower pace and reliance on timing could be exposed by Crawford's versatility. Bradley is direct. He believes Crawford's ring IQ and precision will be too much for Canelo. For him, this isn't just speculation. It's a prediction grounded in Crawford's consistent dominance through adaptability.
Just got done. I woke up 3 a.m. I don't know, someone told me to study Canelo, study Crawford. Crawford about to beat the shit out of Canelo Alvarez. I'm letting y'all know right now, he about to beat the brakes off of Canelo Alvarez. Yes, he is.
Brian Bomac McIntyre, Crawford's longtime trainer, brushes aside concerns about the size gap. He argues that while Canelo has fought at higher weights, he is not an overwhelmingly large super middleweight compared to others in the division. Bomac sees Canelo as more compact, relying on strength and technique rather than sheer size. From this view, the weight difference between Crawford and Canelo is not as decisive as critics claim. His confidence comes from first-hand knowledge of Crawford's conditioning and preparation. Having overseen countless sparring sessions, Bomac insists Crawford has the physical tools to handle whatever Canelo brings. His belief is rooted not in bravado, but in years of guiding Crawford through challenges many thought he couldn't overcome.
Big any goddamn way.
Right. Yeah. Now, Canelo is
the bigger guy, right? But
he ain't the bigger guy.
That's what they say. They say he's wider, he's got more mass. How are you feeling about Bud going in there taking on Canelo's power?
Shit, I don't give a fuck about that power. Well, how you beat power?
Speed.
You said what?
Speed.
And what else?
IQ.
Timing.
That's why you're the coach and I'm not.
I mean, you make some good, you got some good answers, but that power ain't gonna be able to sustain throughout the fight. Watch. And he usually slows down between 6 and 7. You slow down, that's a fucking rat.
Renowned trainer Robert Garcia also sides with Crawford, prioritizing skill over size. Garcia points to countless moments in boxing history where superior technique outweighed physical advantages. To him, Crawford is the kind of fighter who defies conventional wisdom. While Garcia acknowledges size plays a role, he argues that greatness is measured in execution. He praises Crawford's patience, ring control, and timing, qualities he believes will be decisive against Canelo. By backing Crawford, Garcia reinforces the idea that boxing is ultimately a contest of intelligence as much as physical dimension.
Canelo versus Crawford, highly anticipated fight, quickly approaching.
I know a lot of people are not very excited about that fight, and they think the size difference, huge difference, but Crawford's big, man. Crawford's a very strong fighter. He's a very smart fighter also. So look, the way Canelo's been fighting his last couple of fights, where he's just looking for one punch at a time and maybe not doing enough to hurt his opponents, maybe not doing enough to finish them off. I could see Crawford pulling it off.
Decision?
I think Crawford could pull off a decision because he's fast, he's smart, and he doesn't need to run. He could stay around Canelo and just pretty much focus on winning a decision, because I don't think he could knock out Canelo, but he could definitely win a decision.
Marcus Brown offers a rare glimpse behind the scenes. He explains that Crawford doesn't limit his sparring to fighters his size. Instead, he often seeks out bigger men, even heavyweights, to sharpen his reflexes and test his resilience. Brown believes this habit is the ultimate preparation for facing someone like Canelo. It ensures Crawford won't be shocked by heavy shots on fight night, but rather will respond with calm, having rehearsed those scenarios repeatedly. This type of conditioning, Brown argues, builds both physical toughness and mental composure. It's why he believes Crawford's move up in weight won't be as daunting as critics predict.
Question for you, man. Just would love to get your thoughts on, we got the mega fight, the big fight, Crawford, Canelo, Crawford said forget all that, catch weight and anything like that. You're going straight up to 168. What do you think about that? How much of a chance do you give him? Or who do you favor in that fight?
I got love for both of them. I like both of them. I'm a fan of both of them, but I'm going with Crawford. Typically fighters, they don't want to say who they want to go for because they don't want to be biased. Yeah. And much respect to Canelo, but I'm going Bud.
Is there a particular reason why? Like, you're a guy that's moved up in weight, so you know exactly what it feels like to get hit by these bigger guys. Is that something that's going to play in the back of his head? Like,
of course,
gotta watch out.
It is, but it's not, because at the end of the day, it's not like he just got in there with somebody bigger than him. He's always probably been sparring with bigger guys. You know what I'm saying? It's that boxing IQ, which William Skull didn't put up no fight, but he showed somewhat of a blueprint to get this guy, in a space where he's confused. Yeah. And he can't touch his target that's in front of him. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I just think Bud got that IQ.
Is that the same thing that you do in your fights? Because, like you said, your last fight was in 2023. That was your first time moving up. Obviously, you beat the guy pretty easily. But is that something where you just like, I know I can beat this guy, I know I got the skills, but yeah, he's a little bit of a bigger guy than me. I gotta,
Right, because this sport is about, hitting and not getting hit, swimming without getting wet, and taking the least amount of punishment. So, you gotta just, be smart and crafty in it.
Just last one for you. And I know you said you gotta be smart, crafty, and things like that, but I know you're also like a really prideful guy. Like, I know a couple people that know you in Staten Island, and they always tell me, Mark's is a cool guy, a real prideful guy, never wants to lose at anything. You pick it. Motherfucker wanna win at the
hate losing more than I love winning.
Errol Spence Jr. acknowledges Crawford's power, but believes Canelo's bodywork will be the difference. He points out that Canelo's relentless body attacks have broken down some of the sport's toughest opponents. While Crawford has shown knockout power even against durable fighters, Spence doubts it will be enough to halt Canelo's steady pressure. He predicts the fight won't go the distance, with Canelo winning through accumulated damage. Spence's words carry weight because he has shared the ring with Crawford and felt his power firsthand. Yet, despite that experience, he places his confidence in Canelo's proven ability to dismantle elite opposition.
What is his prediction for the fight? So he finally gives it, and it is the following. He said that Terence Crawford's power is real, and he's felt his power is real, but those body shots from Canelo Alvarez are different. And he said he expects Terence Crawford to get knocked out somewhere around the 10th or the 11th round. Doesn't see it going the distance. And as a result, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people think that Errol Spence Jr. is just hating. And I got to tell you, if he was just hating, he would have the right to do it. Why is that? Because that is exactly what Terence Crawford has been doing to him ever since that fight got done. Terence Crawford was asked who his best wins were, and he didn't mention Errol Spence Jr. He mentioned Victor Postol. So I guess, hey man, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So Errol is not holding back his opinion on the fight and says Canelo's going to knock out Terence Crawford. Now let's look at it for a second and think, is that a realistic prediction? Well, it is. Just like many people picked Terence Crawford to beat Errol Spence Jr. and the entire time that they said that, I was like, yep, he could absolutely get that done. I take Errol in that fight, but I would not be surprised. I'm not writing out that Terence Crawford could win that.
Bradley reinforces his stance by pointing to Canelo's recent struggles. He recalls how William Skull, a relatively unheralded opponent, managed to go the distance and expose vulnerabilities. If a fighter like Skull could disrupt Canelo's rhythm, Bradley argues, then a master technician like Crawford should have even greater success. He emphasizes that Crawford isn't just skilled, he's regarded as the best pound-for-pound boxer in the world today. That recognition reflects universal acknowledgement of his dominance. Bradley's point is clear. The aura of Canelo's invincibility can be broken, and Crawford has the tools to do it decisively.
Man, y'all better stop with all the misconception. Stop with all the misconception about this Crawford Canelo. Man, I'm here to tell y'all, Crawford ain't getting knocked out. He ain't getting knocked out. Look, where the evidence is supporting that? Where is the evidence supporting that? Just because y'all think he lighting the ass, that y'all think that's just it? Man, y'all better do y'all research, man. Do your research. Come with some evidence. I'm about to let y'all know right now. Shit, just pay attention. If Skull, right, can hold Canelo to 152 punches thrown in an entire 12-round fight, 152 punches. You don't think Crawford can? You don't think Crawford can? You don't think Crawford can go the distance with Canelo Alvarez? If William Skull can go 12 rounds with him and keep him at an all-time low, 152 punches a round? Oh my goodness. If Charlo, 154 pounder, can go up to 168 pounds. Respect Charlo's skills, but he ain't got Crawford's skills. If he can go 12 rounds with Canelo Alvarez, you don't think Crawford can go 12 rounds with him?
Crawford's daring leap through weight divisions is about more than ambition. It's about legacy. Very few fighters in history have successfully jumped from welterweight to super middleweight in pursuit of undisputed glory. Crawford's preparation has been meticulous, designed to ensure that the added pounds enhance his performance rather than hinder it. His team has prioritized balanced strength training, nutrition, and endurance work, all while preserving his trademark speed and sharpness. This transformation is not just about silencing critics, but about making history. If he succeeds, Crawford will join the rare greats who dared to push beyond the limits of weight and expectation.
But the fact is, his fight night weight was 169 let's just call it 170 pounds, which is huge, absolutely huge for a 154 pounder, especially It's just shocked me that he's come up from 135 and now he's still putting on that much weight. He's rehydrating that much at 154. And indeed, to bring us even closer to the modern day, the thing that was posted, and again, this is the second time we've seen this, is why I'm kind of thinking there's a bit of a theme here with Crawford posting his weight when he's not actually in full training camp. On February the 9th, 2025, he posted an Instagram story and he showed himself weighing 186 pounds on a gym scale. Now, that's so much bigger than I imagined Crawford would be. I never thought this guy would walk around at 186 pounds, which for anyone who needs the conversion is just over 84 kilograms. And now look, it's not an unthinkable weight for someone, but for someone who has fought as low as Crawford has, who is generally as lean and as in shape as Crawford is, that's a lot of weight.